I did Moon Meander for 3 instead of Resolution.
All
so
right.
I switched it up a little.
That means we will both be wrong. Okay.
Great. So we've got a change of pace here, though, for LFY. It'll be End on the Ursa, headed mid in his beautiful Alpine Ursa set. And it's Super on the Razor up top, trying to contest this dual aggro lane. It's a 2v3, DC with the 2 as Resolution gets pushed back. It'll be Xiao 8 that takes the Pugna in a support role. So our predictions for how these lanes will be set up a little bit different. It's now a 3-on-3, Misery in the front lines. Who's going to find the first blood here? Misery getting low. He falls first, but they go 1 for 1 as Super goes down as well. Pudge for Razor.
I think that's actually worth it for the Dire because they got the first blood. Generally, you don't want to trade a core for support, but the first kill is a bit different. Actually, wow, that gold change, is that Radiant favored? That's surprising. Okay, never mind. Guess I'm just flat out wrong. Is the first blood not factored into this?
I don't know.
There's no way. It says Disruptor got 36 gold and he got 300. So this is just wrong. But
yeah,
you know,
I don't always trust the team fight recap. It's a weird,
pretty even trade anyway. What I was gonna say is this early game is really important. I'm very impressed with how Weehaw has managed to get 9 CS at this point, because in my opinion, the way that LFY have set up their lanes, they can actually win all 3 lanes, which is what we were talking about earlier. I think the Juggernaut will suffer a lot against this Razor in lane. There's 2 ranged supports against a melee and a ranged support. Ursa loves this mid lane against Alchemist, and then bottom, Sanking against Timber. Like I said earlier, Sanking is, in my opinion, slightly favored in the start, and then at the higher levels, Timber will start taking over. But both mid and bottom for DC is actually going very, very well here in the beginning.
Yeah, maybe better than expected. And even up top, 3 last hits on the Juggernaut, 7, 8 now on the Razor. Of course, it is in favor of LFY, but could be a little bit worse for DC, and they still have some kill potential. Pudge should go rot level 1. He's just about to hit level 2. And then once they get hooked, things might open up here for DC just a little bit. Oh, Alk mid. Oh, my. A solo kill for the Ursa.
That it's such a big kill. Not just because Alk was having a good start, but look at how much he's losing.
Back up top, though, Xiao 8. He gets initiated on Pugna, only level 2, not able to do much. They will bring him down. Razor comes in, finishes off the kill on Rubik, and it's going to go the way of LFY. Pudge does get off the suicide, minimizing their losses here, but Resolution not in the clear yet. Thunder Strike still doing some good damage. One more from the Razor, not quite as he pops the stick. Feel it, not survive. Very nice.
Oh yeah,
Super
gonna die.
Gonna get turned on. Yeah, Saksa, he gets credit for that one. So in the end, it's not that bad for DC. Razor does die to the Radiant, but I think that still goes the way of LFY. Again, the recap... Yeah, I guess Razor got 900 gold. No, that's damage done. I'm an idiot. He still got 500 gold for that, though. I was going to say, whoa.
Like, all right, guys, I'm going to have 6-minute Dragon Lance.
But he does have 3-minute phase boots. So,
yeah, this top lane is over, as far as I'm concerned. I think DC have to move their lanes around. They can't come back up here with Razor phase in level 4. It's going to be way too hard. They, like you said, they did a fairly good job at salvaging it there, and they actually have moved around. They're putting Reso bottom. He'll start getting some levels here. It's a big wave, similar to the one that Weehaw lost mid for dying. That's what I was getting at when they did go for the kill top as well, was that End not only killed Weehaw, but he killed him when there were 7 creeps at his tower. That means he lost 250 health on the tower, he lost a lot of experience and gold, and because of that, End actually has an Iron Grip on the mid lane right now. Almost level 6, minute 4, get 2 runes. One of them is a DD.
DC is still handling this pretty well, though. They'll put Moon Meander mid. Alk, he's gotten those basic levels, and he just moves into the jungle to start clearing out some stacks. This is the road to recovery. It's a slow start for Wii, but he still has 15 last hits. There is some room for recovery. They'll sack the off lane for now and just start working the jungle. Misery level 2 on Pudge, bumps into Yao. They'll just kind of say hi to each other and go their separate ways, it seems like.
This is where it's important, in my opinion, for LFY to realize that this top lane's fine. Just leave the Razor alone. And they're doing exactly that. They're going to move away the Disruptor and the Pugna, because what you want to do now is you want to pressure on Nice. They're going to get the kill here on Misery. Good rotation from Xiao 8. And now they're going to pressure into the Radiant jungle, because this is how you contest the Alchemist at this point in the game. They made it very clear that Alk is jungling. They're going to run at him and shut down his game. They're going to get socks as well.
They'll find 2 kills. Yeah, both supports for DC get picked off. Very nice rotations. Pugna now level 3, starting to get active around the map. Weehaw finding a little bit of farm in the mid lane. He does hit his level 6. One of the first roadblocks here for Alchemist. Now he gets the Chemical Rage, so he can farm just a little more easily. A little bit harder to kill. All the while Super just farming away up top. Now level 5, racking up the last hits. Interesting to see the early phase boots picked up here. I feel like it's been all boots of travel on Razors. Are phase boots coming back?
I think it's really good in these kind of games where you were expecting to try and try. He's going to get lifted top, though. Very nice.
He's all alone
here from DC. He's
That's
dead.
a freebie.
Yeah, nice kill.
What you needed.
Something I really enjoy when watching DC when they're playing their best is how quick they are at adapting to the situations in the game. And they just showed it again there.
Yeah, maybe in trouble. Moon Meander now rotates in. It's a level 5 Timbersaw. They'll go for the kill on Chow 8, then he tries the TP out. Will not happen, and they pick up 2 around the map. DC striking back here, reclaiming some of that lost lead.
Misery. He's actually fine. Is that a life? Is that a Morbid Mask on the career? No, it's phase boots for End as well, man. They're racking up this move speed.
Interesting.
Yao got the rune bottom. I think I'm very, very wrong on runes. No, actually, DC still has the most runes. Interesting. Similar to last game, I think this Roche is just going to go to Dire, and I think DC will have to accept that with their lineup. Their chance of contesting that when Ursa really wants to go is too low. Like, Pudge will not be ready. Juggernaut has been sacked a bit in the laning stage. Alchemist does not want to go there like minute 7.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough for them. And even Timbersaw actually doesn't like fighting in that area because of the limited options you have with trees. So,
he hasn't even picked up a point in Timber Chain yet.
No. I definitely like this build from Moon Meander, though. Something I think Timbers underestimates how good reactive armor is. And I know it sounds stupid, right? Because everyone knows that ability is just broken. But it is so good when you get it level 4 early.
Yao misses the stun mid. Saksa might actually live here because of it. Moon Meander TP's in and they'll get pushed back. Oh, that's a missed opportunity for LFY. That was a smoke rotation too. It's unfortunate.
And now Weeha's getting a lot all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So they had this good invasion from LFY for like a good 30 seconds where they were in the Radiant jungle, but they've only managed to get out 1 ward, and there's actually a sentry next to it. So if DC walk over and see it, which will happen right now, we will... No, okay. Yes, now he'll see it. He's gonna get rid of this ward, and now there's actually no control of the game anymore for LFY. The 1 ward they have top is not that valuable right now, so they need to make an invasion again and get in and contest this Alk, because else he will be getting to that point of no return for LFY where it might just be too late.
Misery has an option here. This is a Radiant ward, so DDC doesn't know quite where he is. Could maybe blind hook him. Oh, he's so close. You'd think you'd be able to smell Pudge if you were really that close to him, but not quite.
Now Misery's actually in trouble. Gonna get glimpsed here.
Maybe coming out. DDC can't get in range. It's such a dinky little range there indeed. Moon Meander on the run, still does not have Timber Chain, gets glimpsed back, turns to about face the other way, drops the Chakram, Kinetic Field, and now he's going to start taking some damage. End will get in range, drops some right clicks, and Super gets credit for that kill. 1-0, LFY get another.
But it's a big rotation from them, and I will be harping on this a lot because I feel like that's just the storyline of every Alchemist game, is how is Alchemist doing? And Weeha's having a way too good time in this game right now.
That's how he's doing, yeah.
Yeah, he has Armlet minute 8:30 and about 60 CS. And this was after he had an unfavorable lane matchup and they invaded. Oh, Saksa's in trouble.
Yep, in a little bit deep. Kind of got sandwiched there. Really not many options. Sorry,
He should be de-warding this ward. That's fairly obvious when he's in that position that he must have warded. So I'm not expecting that to live its full duration. Scan from Radiant. And End is too low to Roche right now, actually. Yeah. They can't go for it. Moon Meander up top.
Does have that point in Timber Chain now, but DDC limited on mana, has a glimpse if need be. It looks like Moon's just trying to cut the wave, and maybe they'll finish off this tower up top, open up this Dire jungle a little bit.
LFY is doing the same on the bottom side, though. This tier 1 is not long for life, so this will probably go to the Pug... Nope, they want to give it to Razor, looks like. I think he might blast it now because of the glyph, just to make sure. They're going to hit it. Alright, got it. So that goes to Pugna. But this early game, I think if LFY could see where this is going right now, I don't think they're happy with what's happening. They have to put more pressure on this Alchemist. And they see him, I think, on this ward. They just saw him on the top ward for a glimpse of a moment there. And they will be trying to make their way up there. But this is not an easy path to invade.
Right.
At the
And
same
there's
time,
just a lot of
End is under
distance to
pressure.
cover. Now they're starting to rotate up top. They know that most of DC, it seems like, are starting to posture. And gets hooked. Uh-oh. No follow-up. Ursa, kind of a scary hero to pull in.
And that's the end of their own gank.
Yeah.
This gank from DC actually disrupted the entire timing of the smoke they used. Now nothing.
Yep. Again, more space created for Alchemist. They're doing a great 4+1 right now, just creating these distractions.
Now they smoked again themselves. This Ursa could be in trouble here.
Here we go. Hook.
Nice hook.
Connects on to End. Remember, there's no Dismember, but it doesn't matter. They've got an Omni Slash. That'll bring him down. Meanwhile, on the other side, they go in onto the Alchemist. He does have Chemical Rage as well as the Armlet, and he will live. It's a Static Storm down from the Disruptor, and only one kill comes out for DC. Just look at the difference in net worth. I mean, over the last 4 minutes, 5 minutes, it has just been a complete change of pace with Ursa getting taken over. Now the Alchemist is 50% ahead of him.
Yeah, this is very worrying for LFY fans. I think the play for them now is kill Roche and try to take control of the game. Like, go force fights, run into the Alk, smoke again, stop paying too much attention to protecting your Ursa top. I think he shouldn't even be there. He needs to be making aggressive plays. If he's farming in a lane, it gives way too much safety to this Radiant lineup, because he's their primary killer. He needs to go for something. And it will be the Roche call here, so that's a good start for LFY.
Yep.
And the
no
question, how many
for
smokes do they have? They have one on Disruptor. 3 wards unplaced as well here for DDC. They need to get them out to get this control. Whereas if you're looking at DC, keep doing what you're doing. Split the map, get the farm, get the picks, and you just have that Alchemist ticket that you know you can rely on to take over the game soon.
Yeah, this next little window may be a little bit scary, but I mean, handing over Roche while Alk is just free farming and stacking in the jungle, honestly, I think DC can stomach that. Once he gets Radiance, this game gets way easier and he can start really power farming, getting towards that illusion spam, and then just start taking over the map, kind of Naga the Siren style. And on top of that, DC are finding other objectives while the Alk is farming, getting this tier 1 here in the top lane. Glyph has already come out. This will be a freebie for Resolution as LFY start to group up and maybe think about their options with this Aegis. Ursa still quite a ways off the Blink Dagger. He's only got 1,000 gold, so you know, if they want to wait for that, he's going to be holding on to this Aegis for at least a minute or two.
Yeah, I don't think that's the play though. They need to collapse on this mid tower and just get it now. He's farming these golems in the jungle. It's okay because now Alchemist will not, at least not get this camp. And the Pugna can be their pusher in mid, which we're seeing right now, Xiao 8. I think DC will just give up this tower and be like, okay, you know, this probably happened later than they were expecting. 13 minutes was how long it took to get this mid tier 1. At the same time, you almost have a relic now on the Alchemist. Top lane, they're split pushing here. Ancients being stolen though. Good stuff from LFY. They're making the right decisions right now. I just feel like it's a few minutes too late.
Yeah, it's also not a huge amount of Ancients, and Alk's still getting a couple kills here with the Acid Spray. Now very close to that relic, about 200 gold off. DC just playing a very cautious, mindful game, not giving LFY any openings to initiate, putting pressure on the other sides of the map, realizing that they're all clumped up kind of as 5. The Resolution all over the place, splitting the lane up top, TPing immediately down bottom, and just pushing this lane out, making it very hard for LFY to find that ideal fight that they're hoping for. Yao now pressing forward. He does have a Blink Dagger, broken though by the Acid Spray, and will not find any kind of initiation. This is tough for the Dire team right now. They're really not finding much.
Still the right idea that they're playing right now.
Yeah.
So even if it's not going too well with getting the tower, they're asserting pressure on the map. They just got 3 wards out. No one is hitting a tower right now. Now Resolution is going to dare to move forward and poke at it a bit here at bottom, and probably going to see someone TP down to defend, but at least they got some sort of control now. And then they need to play this control. You still use their Aegis. I think the Blink is coming out within a minute on Ursa now.
Yeah, but Resolution should be very happy with this. He gets the confirmation that Super's TP'd, and you know LFY aren't going to force a fight without their Razor there, so again, buys them more time on this Aegis, just about 2.5 minutes till it expires.
I want to point out though that this is not a bad gold graph to have against an Alchemist minute 14. The gold is even. That means you're doing pretty well.
That's true. Here we go, initiation right onto the Pudge. Sand King starts it off. Now the follow-up from Ursa as he comes in. They'll kill Misery first. Follow-up target looking for the Timber Saw, but he does chain away. Glimpse him back. And they actually lock him down, though. Ursa laying in the right clicks. Moon Meander doing some decent damage, but they've got it. Yao with the burrow strike catches him, and we'll finish him off. It's a 2-0. Nice jump from LFY, and they finally get the opening they were looking for.
And the very quietly progressing hero in this game is actually Pugna. We haven't talked about it so much. I was wondering, how is this gold graph 0? Like, who has the advantage? Alchemist has 2k on his guy mid. Who is farming that much on LFY? It's the Pugna. This is a support Pugna with 4.4k gold at minute 15. He has more net worth than the enemy supports combined. So this Pugna is getting obviously a lot out of this wave clear he has with Nether Blast and the towers they've taken, the Roshan gold. So not looking too bad for LFY here. Still, of course, is the Alchemist who we need to focus on, and now he's going to take off with Rady, but
still Blink Dagger comes out on the Ursa. Oh, yeah, some more initiation prowess. That is one of the often overlooked parts of Pugna, I feel like, is how easily he can kill creeps. You know, you're not only pushing towers and getting objectives that way, but you can clear creep waves very effectively with Nether Blast, and you can also kill neutrals. You know, it's a support sort of similar to Crystal Maiden in that regard. You know, she can sit in the jungle and farm pretty effectively if left alone for a couple minutes, and Pugna, it's a similar build that way. So it's pretty good stuff for the Dire. Still a pretty even gold graph. We got an even game on our hands here, Sind. I like it.
Yeah, and even if Alk gets farmed, we need to also look at it from the other perspective, right? We were saying this Alchemist is getting really rich, he's taking off, and he is. But this is not like every Alk game you watch. Sometimes you see Alk is rich and you just know the game is over. But this Dire team has pretty decent counters, right? We were saying they have counters in lanes. They also have counters in game. Ursa likes playing against Alchemist. Razor actually doesn't mind either. Both of them have built-in counters to the Alchemist's strength. So, bottom lane.
Here we go.
A bit too slow there.
Good Blade Fury.
Opportunity.
Glimpse back now. Moonmeer. No, it's Misery that gets a glimpse. Stolen stun. Sand King gets a taste of his own medicine as he's locked down. Now he stuns the other way on too. They will bring down the Pudge first. Misery forced the Timber Chain out. They can't quite get the Sand King as he blinks away. Saksa, 50 HP as he makes it out. DDC can't get in range to finish him off as he burrow strikes into the trees. TP home. He will live. It's a 1-for-2. The Alchemist died in the fray also.
Yeah, this was
on the
actually
other side of the map. Oh, wow.
Exactly. There were two fights going on at once. I was keeping half an eye on it. So what happened was Pugna did get the top tower, and Alchemist got... Oh, wait, we're not done yet. He's
Yep,
going to
down
win with
bottom.
Omni Slasher. Oh,
Omni
big damage.
Gets DDC. Super's on the run, but a nice stun from Yao on 2. Timber saw on Resolution getting low. Now Andy comes back in. Timber chain away. Resolution in big trouble. The Chakram slowing down the bear, but is it going to be enough? He does have his face boots. Defensive hook from Misery. Keeps his buddy alive. You get the kill on the Disruptor. Nice little pickup there for DC to round out that fight, but still losing the Alchemist. Yeah, and an Omni.
Omni slash Aegis is out now. But yeah, what happened, Top, was Pugna went for the tower and got it with the blast. And then Alchemist got the kill on Pugna in return, but Ursa showed up and got the trade-off. And that is a trade-off that definitely favors LFY. Whenever they kill the Alchemist like this, it's such a big gold game because it's the richest hero in the game. And yeah, this game is very close right now. It makes you wonder what would have happened bottom if Sand King got that burrow strike off. He epied into Blink Burrow on the Jugger, but was a little bit too slow on the stun, so Resolution got to react.
Yep.
Could have been a very different fight.
One of the prime reasons there why Juggernaut is such a great carry. Not many carries that can, come online that early in the game and be immune to something like that. Magic immunity. Yasha up on the Razor, as well
Bottom
as
tower's gone.
1,500 gold. As he does finish it off. Zhao Wei, can you credit for that one?
This is a problem for DC if they lose all their towers now. Losing towers when you have Alk in your lineup is manageable if it's a bit later than this. If he has the Manta, he can reliably push out the waves for his team. But they are losing the whole control of the map right now, and Alchemist is not ready to deal with this amount of pressure yet. Like, he has Boots of Travel, Radiance, and Armlet, but the Manta is far away, and this top tier 2 tower is probably the next on the menu here for LFY. They're feeling their dominance right now. They're going to keep pressing it.
Yeah,
it's just hard. These Radiant supports are so poor.
It's just so hard for DC to contest. I mean, Pudge literally just Tranquil Boots right now. Rubik just Brown Boots, Magic Wand. This is one of these situations where Misery almost doesn't want to hook people, They get turn and kill him pretty damn quick. Razor being a great item for the 20-minute mark to go with these drums. The Sanjin Yasha, he's now super speedy when he pops those phase boots. 492, and still only 1 point in the unstable current.
He's hasted when he's max passive now.
Yeah.
When he uses phase, that's for sure.
It's great.
Very good for Alchemist with this build. Will move very fast. You see he has 426 himself. But Razor can keep up with him. And if this Alch gets drained the entire fight, his impact is pretty minimal.
Yeah. That's true. That's another aspect.
Roche just spawned. See, good ward here placed actually a while ago by DC. Didn't get countered on the high ground. They're getting a lot of information right now about LFY's movements. And they're going to take advantage of it. No, they're not.
Almost find Xiao.
And Xiao saw the hook. This is big info for LFY as well. Now, the jig is up.
Find the disruptor. Soxa goes in. DDC gets off the static storm kinetic field. Now the counter initiation. DC in a lot of trouble as they lose Rezo as well as Misery. Weeha's still on the high ground. He's going to try to make it away as Yao looking to chase him down. Does have the burrow strike. Blink dagger up. He connects. And Stable Concoction on the way. Does find a stun on 2. Big damage now coming from the Alchemist. He kills the Ursa. He will still go down. Compliments of the plasma field. And now the glimpse on the Soxa. DC will get cleaned up. But they do find the big kill before going down. It still hurts. That's a brutal fight.
That should also be a Roshan for the Dire, I think. If they go and check it now and know that it's up, the moment Ursa spawns, he can just run straight down there. They're even trying here to get Moon Meander. Fairly unlikely kill here. They have Glimpse, so if he sticks around, he's actually being semi-greedy here. He's actually dead, I think.
Oh,
stuck around way too long.
Yeah. Burrow strikes in, takes a lot of damage. Actually almost dies in turn, but knows his limits. Now the Glimpse back, but Moon might still be able to make it away. Timber chain to a close tree, perhaps not.
That's a negative.
Super with the plasma field, they'll lock him down and bring him down. Okay, I was about to say kind of peculiar they didn't go for Roche, where Timbersaw is kind of a hard hero to lock down, but Moon Meander hands it to him. I don't want a
they
silver
need the
platter
Ursa to live. It's not really. They wouldn't have gone for Roche until Ursa lives, but they could have tried to play zone control. You know, they could have gone there, tried to center the area, get wards up of their own.
Yeah.
But DC totally actually do know this is happening. I just don't know if they have a play. They're going to run straight over.
Right now it's just the Ursa and the rest of LFY are
back here.
Pretty far away. And he'll make it to his side of the river.
You know what we haven't talked about as well is the Pugna being a good illusion counter. That's something that could come into play later. When Alchemist goes for this Manta build later, Pugna can one-shot the Illus with Life Drain. It has a 22-second cooldown now, but if we see Xiao 8 go the Aghanims route later, he has 0 cooldown on that ult. And then he can just stop Alchemist's split push all the time.
Great Radiant scan here. Catches the smoke from the Dire. They'll just back out. And should not be a pick-off here for LFY.
They have a ward of their own, actually. They saw all of the Radiant heroes move up toward the high ground. Now they're moving back down. This gives maybe a moment of opportunity for Yao here. Timber showing. Gives them a free Roche, first of all.
Yep. Ursa will get it.
In.
DDC charges forward. Yao with the stun to start things off on Timber. It's a hook. They wanted it defensively, but he has to commit suicide in the end. Soxa maybe in some trouble here. Misery TP's out.
Okay, got out.
And Soxa the same, looking to TP. They'll have no interrupt. Yao just half a second too short.
Nice TPs from DC there. I definitely thought they would have lost something from that.
Yeah, me too. Well, I guess suicide on the Timbersaw. That's some Bloodstone charges, but that's about it.
He's lost them twice now, though. He got killed top as well, so he's down to 5. Nice ping coming out from Moon Meander, though, identifying exactly where that Dire ward is, but now it's a little bit too late. If they go and counter ward it now, it's actually going to expire. So they got the value out of it they needed, and they're looking to high ground.
Here we go. Another ward is down. No buybacks available for DC right now, so if they get cleaned up here, this could potentially be pretty scary. Only one outer tower remains. Yep, and there's the Manta out on Alchemist. A big item pickup, maybe not quite in this scenario, but at least helps clear out waves, can shove the lanes.
Oh yeah, they can destroy an Illidu with Glimpse too. We forgot that.
Oh
they
yeah,
have 2 one-shots.
Yeah,
they do stop the push here. I don't know if they needed to. Pugna was looking okay on his mana, and as long as he's standing in the creep wave, it's difficult for the Radiant to engage. You know, that's why I said Pudge needs to come up big, because when they go in and push with this Nether Blast, they need to hook Xiao 8 into the base. Obviously not possible, it's in the wave.
Pugna's going to go into Guardian Greaves, but I think after that, the Aghanims has to be pretty tempting. You've already got a mobility tool,
I think so too.
Force Staff or Blink, you've already got the Aether Lens. I think that's certainly the play. Also, you've got Juggernaut Illusions that'll be worth killing off with the Manta style. Well, his illusions are created by the Manta. His farm's still pretty slow, though. I mean, Alk, he's still doing very well. This is the stage where farming for him is quite easy. Jug is middle of the pack. He's not really able to pull away from the other cores. Really just a Manta style right now, not even that close to a defusal. Unless, is there anything on the
wondering
courier?
If that's the path he wants to take.
Nope.
If it's a good defusal game, it might be good. It's good against Pugna.
Good against
being able to
Decrep in theory.
Decrepify.
Yeah.
A good item against Ursa. It's a hero you want to kite, so you can just trade off. You can jump in and you can feel like you can actually get away from him. But he also has a defusal, so then it becomes the battle of like who's best at playing with 100 move speed. Here we go again though. Why?
Radiant do have
big
a
damage on
and
end.
Taking so much here. I mean, he does have the Aegis, but still an impressive amount of damage coming out.
Might see a life drain into him here.
Rotating in, maybe looking for a hook. Meanwhile, TP's up as Resolution trying to split push. He will get this tower finished off. Denied by the Razor, but still, it's a tower down. Nicely done to put pressure on while LFY are trying to pressure themselves.
It's a good hold here by DC.
Yeah, 2 minutes left. They're waiting this thing out pretty effectively. This could be a lot worse.
Disruptor is fishing here. He's
also...
If he finds Alk, this is big.
On the tree line. He goes in onto Ursa. That'll be the end of the Aegis straight away. Hook falls short from Misery on the back line. DDC getting low. Because now the Aegis will bring him back up. Weehop pops the Manta style. Gets outside of the kinetic field, but now disarmed. He crept. Maybe in some trouble. His teammate's still nearby. Yao follows up, but it's not nearly enough damage with the ultimate. Weehaw gets stunned, and Razor with the right clicks maybe can bring him down, but this Alk is damn tanky. They'll finish him off, but it's a big cost. Their whole team getting cleaned up. Hook from Misery does connect, and it's 5 down on the side of LFY just to kill that Alchemist. I can't believe Weehaw survived so long, Sin.
I think it came down to the glimpse from Disruptor, actually. They were on him. They're pinging the spot right now. The Razor's like, I was killing Alk here. And then you glimpsed him all the way bottom. So they actually... The problem for LFY's cores is that when they're committed on the Alk, like let's say they've used their phase boots and their blink from Ursa and they're on him, and he got glimpsed down 1,000 range, they're not in a position to kill him anymore. I think the glimpse might have actually saved that fight for DC, as sad as that is for LFY. Disruptor also didn't get his Static Storm off, and in addition to that, they had the Aegis and did not get the jump. The one win condition for DC there is claiming the Aegis before the fight even starts, and Weehaw managed to accomplish that. So he took advantage of that one ward they have here around the mid area. You see it got a little bit of vision on the cliff on mid, and he has the information he needs to go and catch that Ursa off guard. Very big play here from DC to, in my opinion, basically pull them back into a game that was starting to look really, really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, that completes now the Diffusal Blade for the Juggernaut. Alchemist, he had the Manta style before that, now up to another like 2,500 gold or so once he finishes off these Ancients. And even now a Yule Scepter up on Moon Meander, so that gives him a nice little bit of survivability and another tool to, isolate the Ursa, take him out of the fight, stuff like that. Great game for a Yule Scepter, for sure.
I'm wondering if we're going to see a Glimmer Cape come out as well from this Radiant team. I feel like it's a really valuable item. So much magic damage on the Dire side that is fairly easy to mitigate, but both of them, looks like both Pudge and Rubik will settle for 4 staffs for now. Obviously another great choice, just need to be a bit careful against Kinetic Field, but...
Yep. Still prioritizing mobility here. Razor now with the BKB, super with 10 seconds of Magic Immunity. Have that ready for the next fight. Of course, still a while before Roche comes up, and after winning that fight, now DC are in a pretty comfortable situation where they know they don't need to be aggressive and they can still farm. And exactly right, catches this rotation from LFY. And we'll see, they could still maybe take a fight. DC, who's going to get jumped? It's Moon Meander that starts it off. Forces the BKB from Super as they start to disengage, but Yao, he catches Wii. Channels up the stun, drops it onto the Sand King. Super still with the BKB on. Omni Slash, the Decrep mitigates a lot of the damage, keeps Yao alive, but it just delays the inevitable. Now Soxia in deep. Razor at about half HP, drops the plasma field. It's enough to bring Soxia low for the kill. Resolution just trying to stay alive here. It's one of these long drawn-out fights. We on the backside now ready to rejoin. Resolution TP's home. DDC will not be able to stand the heat. He gets Glimmer Caped, and maybe it'll be just enough to keep him alive. Nice hook from Misery. Isolates the Ursa. DDC actually does live. A value Glimmer Cape there as he Urn charges up and tries to TP home. Meanwhile, on the other side, Timbersaw chasing him down deep into the tower. At the end, it is a 2-for-2 advantage going the way of LFY.
Yeah, the Juggernaut did end up dying there. A nice attempt from him, but, you know, again, DC, these scans are really good, I have to say. Like, they're reading the movements of LFY very well, so they were ready for this fight to erupt. They were in a good position, and the BKB from Razor just ends up being completely wasted. I think that's the biggest problem for LFY in the entire team fight, is that I think the good first 5 or 6 seconds of that BKB did nothing but run him in. And then when it was time to really man up in the fight, he actually couldn't fight anymore, because he was running out of that magic immunity, got controlled quite a bit. Ideally, they want the way for this fight to break out. The angle, they were specifically going this way around because they knew that DC were in the area. But they didn't have a good ward of their own. Actually, the only team that had a good ward for that fight was DC. You see it's still standing down here in the middle of the Radiant jungle. If LFY get out a good aggressive ward when they make this opening play, this fight can look completely different. Maybe they get a glimpse on the Timber when he blinks us away, or maybe they, you know, catch another key hero, like maybe they can isolate the Alp completely and just bring him down. But instead it ends up being, like you were saying, this fight was a little bit all over the place actually. And if that favors a team, it's DC. Like over time, Alchemist Radiance will wear them down, Timber will wear them down, and the BKB, as we said already, just ran out.
On top of that, over time reactive armor will heal up the Timber Saw. The ult from Alchemist will slowly heal him up. Plus you've got Healing Ward. You know, long spread out fights are great for DC. And also, you know, Pudge, he loves the hook dismember combo. You've got cooldown issues there. These fights where you can engage then reset, engage and reset, that's the bread and butter for Pudge. You know, Misery's kind of having a field day in those sort of engagements. So here we go.
We're gonna have a fight again.
Yeah, smoke from DC, scouting with the illusion up on the high ground. They'll get a little bit of intel here. Maybe they can make a catch. Hook falls short, but a noble effort, right idea. LFY will just back out now.
I actually think the ideas that LFY have are right. I think going for that fight that they did in the Radiant Jungle was a good choice. They just didn't execute it well enough. But they're not scared. That is
he gets caught. Not the way to start this fight. Xiao 8, he gets pulled up, and yeah, that'll be the end of the Pugna. No buyback on him. In comes Wee. He has the stun, gets it off. It ends up being a double for Misery. Ouch. Brutal.
Yeah, DC just played their high ground advantage very well there. The Observer Ward at the Secret Shop gave them the confidence to move in, and then they ultimately find the pick. And this has been, to me, the biggest difference between the two teams in this game. I think DC just have better reads. Their warding is better, the way they take the fights is better. LFY definitely have the tools needed to fight, but they're just not executing on the level that DC are in these fights. I still think LFY should not be blamed for trying to take these fights. I think that they're making the right choice. If you remember, they got like 5-1 in a team fight, and the next thing they did was run straight down into the Radiant Jungle to fight again. Yeah, and I admire that. I think it's the right choice. They can't just get you know, scared of fighting into DC because they have the tools. But at this point, now it's getting really hard.
You have to pressure the Alp, even when you fall behind like that. You know, you gotta up your risk tolerance. You know. But we'll see. Outer towers down for LFY. It's nothing but base left standing. DC in a very comfortable position. Roche has respawned. A focal point of this match, as we'll see. Another rotation out. LFY, they catch one. Hook not going to be there to save Resolution. Now it's a 4v5. DC on the back foot. They could still potentially take a fight here, though, if they can catch this right. Super getting slowed down. Misery gets left behind. 4 stack down. Will not be enough to save him. It's a 2-0.
And a Roche.
It should be Roche, yeah. This is just when you think LFY is down, they strike back and make a good play like that.
Yeah, well, the primary difference is just who gets the jump and on whose terms the fight happens. They get a jump on the Juggernaut, totally different fight. Misery tried for a nice hook there, but Sand King got in the way of it. That's something that Sand King, like a very innate part of the hero against Pudge, is when you stun your target, you will, you know, generally end up behind them. So the saving line for Misery is difficult to find. And that fight, that definitely goes the way of LFY, so they're still alive in this one. This Roche also has a cheese for Super. Can maybe draw out his BKB now in the next fight and use it after the cheese. Or the other way around, obviously.
Yep. He's also got a plate mail. AC or Shiva's on the way. I think AC pretty damn good here. But speaking of Shiva's, he's completed now on Wii. So this is where things start to get fun for the Alchemist. Getting into that territory where pooling Aghanims could become a reality. You know, a hero like Rubik could be pretty good here. Giving it to the Timber Saw could also be pretty nice.
Exactly. Timber recovered enough. You remember he was down to 5 Bloodstones, right? Moon has managed to find another 10. And that's really important because this hero has mana issues when it comes to buying the Ags. Like, Ags is very, very mana intensive to use, but when you have this many Bloodstone charges and the Octarine, because he knows his Ags can get pulled, this Timber will become massive, and at some point he's going to buy BKB, and then he doesn't care about Sand King, Pugna, or Disruptor at all.
You know, it's actually true.
He only needs to really deal with the Ursa.
In terms of late game, Timber is one of those heroes that it will hit a wall where he just can't itemize anymore. You know, it's a hero that doesn't really benefit from Moon Shard, you know, so even some stuff like that aren't upgrades he can go for. Having a pooled Aghanims is amazing. It gives him a huge upgrade, an item that he usually can't afford to get rid of, and opens up an item slot. So
exactly.
I like that.
It's generally... What you often see in late game is that Timber has to choose between having the Blink or having Octarine or Ags or a Hex, right? Like one of those items has to go, or he needs to drop his boots, which is not advisable in most situations. But that Ag slot solves it. Now he can get his full, the full luxury build on Timber, which is the Blink, Shiva, Octarine, Ags, Bloodstone, and Hex. You can have all of them. Yeah. We will probably see him replace the Yules in the end if we get to that stage.
Yeah. For sure. Shiva's Guard now out on the Razor, so Super not going for the Assault Cuirass, and also the Skull Basher now out on En's Ursa. So looking most likely for the Abyssal Blade there. Great item to have on the Ursa, as we talked about. He gets kited, having lockdown is one way to solve that. 4,200 gold up on Alchemist. Do you go Aghanim soon, or do you replace the Armlet first and then start pooling?
I like Ags now, because I think if he keeps focusing too much on himself, it's important to distribute the gold here. If only Alk is very rich and he gets caught, they have a problem, but there's other heroes in this lineup that can scale very well. I think the Timber Ags, for me, is probably the absolute best choice right now, which is why he is actually going Ags. I was just going to make a joke that he bought something else because he's used a lot of gold, but it is indeed the Ags. I think Timber Ags, and then next up, maybe Pudges. I actually think Pudges is better than both Rubiks and Jugs this game.
Yeah, I think Jug is lowest on the totem pole for sure. Rubik, I mean, you know, it's not just about the Ags upgraded spells, but just the bigger cast range.
I am completely wrong. It's Juggernaut Ags time, apparently.
Whoa. Okay. I could have been more wrong. All right,
nice stats. I mean, you know, it's easy to just be like, you know, oh yeah, okay, right? To try to... I personally don't think this is the best choice. The nice thing about it is that the logic stays the same, right? You're making another core scale. And they chose that Juggernaut's Omnislash and the extra stats on him would be more valuable than on the Timber. I personally disagree, but it's the right idea regardless.
I think one of the other... Right. I think one of the other aspects of this is it extends the window in which Juggernaut is invulnerable in these fights, because it adds slashes. So yeah, it makes him do more damage, but he's doing damage and staying safe longer, which can be pretty valuable against, you know, like an Ursa, for example. And it also makes Decrep less of an effective counter because it just lasts longer. You can kind of outlast Decrep if you don't have a defusal charge. So there are some some pluses to it, and of course Chow 8 himself the Aghanim Scepter on Pugna. So no cooldown now on that life drain, pretty huge.
Yep, those Elusive Alk will not be a problem anymore. What's his mana pool like on the Pugna? So he has 2k, he has really bad mana regen though. But still, he incasted a lot of times. Yeah.
And once he gets Guardians, that'll help a little bit. Mecha, another big mana cost item he's hanging on to. Here we go, set up onto Razor. Will there actually be follow-up though? Doesn't look like it. Super just turns and gets aggressive. Meanwhile, on the other side, now the real fight breaks out. BKB popped by the Ursa. Alchemist getting initiated on, but they'll bring down the Disruptor straight away, and Alk will not live. Misery tries to bring him to the low ground, but it won't happen, and now Punch will get off a suicide. That's pretty nice. It's minor, but it is something. DC trading 2 for 1 as Moon Meander now tries to make it out. And this is going to be tough. He does not have a TP. He does have the gem, but long-range stun from Yao. He's got Aghanims. And they will find that kill. Omni Slash from Jug, bouncing all around, but Resolution maybe biting off more than he could chew here. Tries to spin again, does not have a TP. Stocks it in deep alongside. He'll get decrept, and Jug will get stunned up by Yao and locked down. It is a full 5-man wipe. LFY trading just their position 5 disruptor for the entire team of Digital Chaos. My God.
And I think, you know, in this fight, the moment Alk is dead, I think you just abandon ship as DC. I can see why Resolution was tempted to jump back in. There's 3 heroes isolated on the side, nothing around them. He knows he has the Aghanim's ult, but his ulti's not strong. Like, he doesn't have damage items yet. He has a Diffusal and a Manta. He doesn't have something like a Mjolnir that will proc like 6 chain lightnings among those 3 heroes in the forest, or something like an MKB so the crits hurt.
Yeah.
The Aghanims is not providing the value yet. It will be amazing when he has his next item or 2, but he needs to get there. Like, that Omni Slasher, you barely even saw it on those 3 heroes.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't care.
That was honestly why I hesitated. I thought, well, I hear it, but where's the damage?
Really?
I don't see it. Oh, glimpse here onto the Timber Saw. He's in a
he's
precarious
in trouble now.
situation. Yeah, it's a 1-on-4, and it's soon to be 1-on-5. Static Storm, Kinetic Field, Dual Scepter, buys him some time, gets off the Suicide. Best case scenario there after getting shut down, or after getting caught like that, rather.
He just lost 9 Bloodstone charges now, though. He went from 15 down to 6 against, and now we're back to square 1 for him, and it does make a big difference for that hero. It really sucks losing all those charges. So LFY pretty much just pulled back the game. It was looking very grim, but that
Level
advantage,
2.
being 4k gold behind against an Alchemist at 41, very, very good.
Yeah, all these heroes really starting to come online. Razor's BKB paying some dividends as they now go towards the high ground. Xiao 8 slowly but surely chipping it down. One of the most obnoxious parts about Pugna pushing is it's just so hard to glyph. You know, you can predict when the Nether Blast will come off, but it's just slow and steady sieging. They'll take a little bit of chip damage and just back out. LFY playing it very safe.
There's actually another thing that we should also mention here is obviously I was talking way earlier in the game about Ursa's matchup against Juggernaut. The issue that Juggernaut will have in a game like this is that his moment of opportunity in that hero matchup is really, like, the window is very narrow, right? The cooldown on Enrage is 18 and the duration is 4. So you have 14 seconds, where you have a play, right? When those 14 seconds are over, nothing's going to happen. That's what happened in the side as well. Like, when Juggernaut went in for that Omni Slash, he might have got unlucky. Like, maybe that's why it looked weaker than it actually was. A lot of the slashes go on an Ursa who's in Enrage, and it does, like, nothing, right? Mm-hmm. And that will be happening in these fights, more than likely. But still, you know, if Resolution gets the perfect Omni Slash there, I still think he doesn't kill anyone. It's not at that stage yet, but it's something to keep in mind here. That what does the Radiant actually do about this Ursa? He's a really big problem. They have no silence. He will always get off the Enrage. Then they know they have a 10-second window. When that window is over, they're in trouble again.
Yeah, I wanted to say Hex on Timbersaw, but that seems like it's a pretty long ways off. I mean,
That's
this game
far away.
Could end before that comes out, that's for sure. Another Aghanims now on the way for the Alchemist, and we'll see who he gives it to. He gives it to the Pudge. Okay, so Misery now has the 4-second cooldown hook. I'm really surprised, Sind. If you had asked me, I would have said Timbersaw and Rubik were the 2 highest value this game, and he's gone the opposite route.
I'm not feeling the Timber as much after he lost 10 Bloodstone charges. It does change it a bit, and maybe their concern is they actually can't really use it on him until he has BKB, because he's just going to kill himself on Nether Ward. But that's kind of like a glass half empty approach, if you think of it that way, because then you're already in the mentality that you cannot play the fight from ahead because there is this one ability that will ruin you. The other way of looking at it is, how much can we do when the Nether Ward is down? And then all of a sudden Timber can be a monster with 2 chakrams. Awesome ability against Ursa and Razor, who are very movement-based carries in the fight. To have those 2. So yeah, they're going to go for the Pudge. I could definitely see it on Rubik too. The only issue is the only very good steals are Burrow Strike and the...
Here we go. They find
Weehaw. Nice hook though.
Offensive hook. Saksa will still die first, most likely. Omni Slash goes off of Xiao 8, but they'll break up some of the damage. They'll still go 1 for 1. Pugna dies. It's another one of these spread out fights. Weehaw going in on the DDC will finish him off, but now on the bottom, they catch the Juggernaut. Resolution getting low. Yao pops the epicenter and does find the kill. Now back on the other side, it's Ursa versus Alchemist. BKB popped by the Ursa. He will at least scare back the Alch for now. Moon Meander stunned up again by Yao on the other side. It's a 2 for 3 and soon to be 2 for 4. It looks like Moon getting low, but he actually does a lot of return damage. They can't quite bring him down. We looking to reinitiate the fight. They will rendezvous, and then he backs out. Timbersaw, he gets interrupted. Nice stun from Yao, and that will secure it as End blinks forward and gets the bash.
Oh wow, click on that dire ward in the middle of the jungle there. Look at its reach.
Oh, wow.
You see that?
Right where he
was
him.
literally on the edge of that ward with Timber. That's why the Sand King saw him there and got that stun off. And that was like, that must have been like less than a quarter of a second from TPing out on that Timber. He's going to feel a bit snubbed about that one.
Unfortunate. Another 2,500 net worth swing, again going in favor of LFY. DC still holding on to a very small gold lead. Experience now going vastly in favor of the Dire, and lo and behold, it's Roche number 4. Dies in about the blink of an eye there as the Aegis once again comes out onto Ursa, and she's, I think, on the Razor. Yep, there it is.
We're not looking good on predictions here, Andrew. This is not good.
No.
I mean, I still have the Alk one to hold on to, but I'm starting to lose faith in that in the long run as well.
Oh my.
He could still get overtaken here. He has spent a lot of gold on his teammates with the axe. I think with how this is going now, you don't give an axe to the Timber. I think now you look after yourself and you buy an item instead of the armlet.
Yeah.
BKB would be a pretty good choice. I could see that working.
BKB
maybe something
like
Mjolnir. Yep, you can obviously eat the Moon Shard. Let's see, he sold his armlet. He's making his choice now.
Sitting at 6k, so sky's kind of the limit here.
The issue for Weehaw here is that he doesn't actually hit that hard. The Dire heroes don't fear him, and they don't fear the Jugger either, because Resso hasn't made enough progress on his itemization yet. They're just not killing the heroes, so I'm wondering if Weehaw will take more of a damage approach here. That's a Scotty for Jug. I think it's a damage item he's up for next. This will definitely, or more than likely, be an MKB pickup. There's the BKB for Alk. Okay, I can dig that.
All right. You know, still maybe a little bit light on damage, but now he can get off those right clicks. Won't get kited around. Still, there's bashes from Ursa that he's got to worry about, but this is where the Sand King really gets obnoxious in these team fights. Blink Dagger, Force Staff, Lotus Orb. He is so hard to lock down. It feels like those stuns are just coming from out of range. It just comes out of nowhere with the burrow strikes. All right,
this game is quieting down a little bit here. I like this play a lot from DC, trying for the wraparound here.
It's sneaky.
Yep. Okay. Well, not anymore.
They pull the plug. They TP home, but it's an interesting idea.
But they're not getting the chance.
Hook. Good hook. It grabs DDC, but instant static storm comes out. Now the real fight begins. Lotus Orb put on top of Super. Misery getting low. DDC does survive through it. They go 1-0. Misery, the only one dead. Tier 3 tower also fell. Barracks take a little bit of chip damage. Super does have an Aghanims now, so pushing gets a lot easier for LFY. Razor just needs to stand nearby. Yao with a long-range stun connects on Rubik. Omni Slash jumping around. It's Lotus. Oh my. That is so weird looking. Yao still gets pushed into a weird situation, and he might live. Glimmer Cape actually keeps him alive. Wee BKB on, trying to chase out. They get the 1 kill on Pugna. Now N trying to get in the right clicks, but Wee looking pretty strong in the front lines here. Super trying to isolate the Timber, but they're going blow for blow. Weeha's not going to win this duel. He dies to the epicenter from Yao. Moon Meander gets the counter kill that way. It's still looking okay for DC. 3 dead on the side of the Dire. Now Super gets left behind. Resolution joining the party, getting off the right click. Soxa will pay with his life, but it keeps the Razor around. They go 3 for 4. No buybacks used. Barracks in the mid lane do stay standing. They lost 1, but they hold the melee. So not too bad for DC. They get about a 2k net worth swing out of it, but it's a long, sloppy fight.
That was a really good hold, though, from DC. They managed to fight into Aegis Cheese without having to buy back. This Ursa Aegis might actually end up just expiring now. And I'm wondering if End is not trying to press his advantage enough with this Aegis and should just, really go in, soak stuff, use the Aegis and give them that fight. You're generally not happy when a fight ends like this and you have the Aegis left. That most of the time indicates that you are not playing aggressive enough, right? Like, if he gets killed off by the Alk and it sets up his teammates to survive 5 seconds longer, the outcome of this fight could be totally different. But DC did a really good job in this fight, again, at spacing it out. Even though Sand King did survive quite a while because of that really clutch Lotus Orb, they still hunt him down, get him killed off. And with Sand King out of the picture, the team fight suddenly gets a lot easier because of what we were saying before the game even started. Lack of lockdown on the Dire. They just don't have that much control at the end of the day. Only Ursa's Abyssal, really. That has a long cooldown.
Moon Meander slowly on the up and up once again. We're back to 8 Bloodstone charges here, Sind. At that middle ground, he also has the Octarine Coin, another 1,800 gold. So I mean, is there a point where the Aghanims... I mean, eventually, Alk will just have so much money that he's going to give everybody an Ag. So there kind of comes a point where it doesn't matter, but I still think that's a big bump in their damage output at this point. I mean, Moonmeander still has a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, I definitely feel like now, you know, Moonmeander, go BKB and get that Axe on him. That is the biggest bang for their buck they can get right now on DC. That's what it feels like to me. That and Resolution's obvious choice of getting a damage item next, where, you know, he survived that fight, so he got a really big amount of gold out of that. He ended the monster kill streak on Razor for another 1,000 gold as well. So suddenly Jugger is looking really hot in this game. And
wow, look at that net worth. Yeah, he just picked up the Scotty, as you said, and now he's number 2 ahead of the Razor, not even that far behind the Alchemist. Pretty impressive. Another Aghanim's on the way. Alk will ferry it out.
Now, let's see if we're as wrong as we can be and goes on the Rubik.
If he gives it to Rubik.
What good steals are there for Rubik here? Sand Stun, Static Storm with Ags is obviously incredible. The Pugna ult will not be that bad of a steal either. You can try to like heal his allies up.
Yeah, I mean, they've already got a lot of Aghanims on LFY.
Ursa ult, nice steal, actually, for Rubik. Gives him survivability.
Yeah. Just that short cooldown and cast range, you know, allows Rubik to sit back in the fights, helps his positioning. I always feel like the cast range is one of the biggest luxury benefits.
There we go.
On
they
the
got
top
eyes
side,
on Rubik.
Initiation onto Stoxa, defensive hook, pulls him back. He'll be fine. No BKBs
Super
used.
with the refresher. He's so strong right now.
Stoxa again. Alright, he pops the BKB for that. Maybe they get another one here. Misery also left behind. Yeah, that'll be an easy kill on the Pudge. Okay. I thought, you know, maybe just Rubik for a BKB, that could be worth it, but yeah, 2 for 0, certainly not. Nice set of pickoffs here for LFY. Maybe they just head mid now and try and finish off this barracks. No buybacks available on those 2 heroes. Of course, they don't know that, but this could
Razor
be a
can
dead
clean
barracks.
the side of Rax in 10 seconds with Axe Refresher. He needs 20 seconds on the second Eye of the Storm here, but they're still definitely going to press their advantage. This melee will... actually, maybe not even fall before the supports respawn.
Oh my god,
no
backdoor
glyph.
protection.
No glyph. They should still get it. 15 seconds. That's definitely enough.
Okay. Oh, it's a little bit close. The backdoor protection at least makes it interesting. Wait, what? Oh. Jesus. Super stunned up by a concoction. They do give it to the Timbersaw. So now he's got the double chakram flying about.
Oh, their top lane is actually in trouble.
So did finish off that tier 3 tower, it looks like. Yep, they sure did. A little bit of guaranteed damage there on the ranged barracks. Very nice. BOT is now up on Timbersaw, so Moonmeander opting for more mobility instead of that BKB you were talking about. It's 30-second cooldown with the Octarine Core. It's pretty nice, but BKB's got to be coming out next.
They might feel like now that they lost an entire lane of Rax that he will be a bit more on wave clear duty, and then he can travel to the fight so that they can get the conditions right for fighting. Because the move speed in the fight itself from the travels, I don't think will play that big of a role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like map mobility. Clear out those waves. Here we go. 10-second BKB up on the Juggernaut. Gives him a little more flexibility in these fights. We'll see how long we've got on Roche coming up soon, but MKB now out on Ursa. Pretty scary damage output on this bear. So only 1 defusal charge left.
That's a good point, actually. That's something we haven't really kept much of an eye on, the status on the defusals. 8 on the Jug and 1 on the Ursa. Can start playing a role. Oh.
They see Misery. They find the stun to start it off, but they disengage. Razor goes up to the high ground, but the Omni Slash in the backline doing so much here. It brings down the Disruptor first. Juggernaut still going forward. Where are his teammates, though? Razor gets the kill on Pudge in the backline. Another one of these fights where it's cores versus supports. Resolution on the run. Alchemist trying to focus on Super here, but he won't be able to keep his Juggernaut alive. This is a whiff team fight for DC. They've lost most of their cores. Rubik gets left behind. He'll be killed next. All this for a Disruptor. It seemed like a really good Omni Slash at first, but it broke up this fight into all of these little 1v1s, and then DC just couldn't handle it.
This Razor is just fun. If they don't manage to get a couple kills early, DC, they will just get run over by the double Eye of the Storm. Weehaw had to run away from the Razor very early in that fight and just give space, and the Ursa gets to, like you were saying, just hammer into the Timber, and that just very quickly only goes one way when that starts happening. So, yeah, the big hero for me on the Dire in this game is just really the Sand King. It's all of these fights, when Sand King gets these multiple stuns off, it's what sets the tone of the fight, it's what sets their cores up to shine. And Yao has been doing a really excellent job this game on that SK to look at to what looks like now almost secret in the game. They have a 2 racks lead against Alk. That is... I don't know what the win rate is on that, but it's got to be really damn good.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like the way Super is playing this Razor, too. He's now got the BOTs, but, you know, went for sort of a normal right-click kind of a build, just get some good beefy stats, drum, S and Y, and now he's moved into the Aghanim's Refresher and kind of transcended into this late game tower sieger, and it's working pretty well. I mean, now it feels like this Dire team is almost unstoppable. Ursa rebuys the Diffusal just to get some new charges. Okay.
And I think something people tend to forget when they look at Razor is that Eye of the Storm gives minus armor. So when you're running these 2 Eyes of the Storm next to each other and you stay on a target, that target very quickly runs out of all of their armor. And then even though this Razor hits for 200, all of a sudden he hits for more than 200. Like they will go into negative armor and he will start crushing them. And then Eye of the Storm itself also deals physical damage, so it amplifies itself.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a great tower sieging build, but it is a great combat build too. Like this damage just very quickly becomes insurmountable for DC in these fights, and they're going for what seems to be a last-ditch effort here. If this fight fails for them, that's probably the GG call. So need to come up big here, get a good ward first off. There's a counter smoke from LFY as well, and they're going for the big wraparound. I think no one's going to find each other here.
We'll see. LFY go deep into Radiant territory. Both teams dropping the scans, both teams missing. Okay. The about face now. Here we go. Oh, Juggernaut, he gets caught first. Resolution pops the BKB, but he gets stunned. He'll be brought down first. He does have a buyback. It's not over yet. But now the rest of DC trying to retreat. Super makes it to the high ground. Follow-up stun from Yao. They're dropping like flies as now they lose Moon Meander. Wee pops the BKB. He's on the run. This will be a tough one. He TP's out. They've got no way to interrupt
TP.
it.
Clutch.
Yep, Abyssal Blade still on cooldown there. So they do get 2 cores, both of them with buybacks. I mean, pretty brutal. I don't know if LFY can end off this, but another one of these team fights that shows how pretty convincingly this game is in their favor. I mean, they're going for the win.
They're going to go tier 4. They'll force the buybacks here.
Yeah.
Good hook.
Oh, they might be able to find Chao 8. Force staff back. Another force staff back.
Another
Glimmer Cave. He will not live. This could actually be okay for Radiant. Omni Slash bouncing all around. Timbersaw brings down the Pugna as well as the Disruptor. They've already gotten the Sand King. And now it's a 4th one. Ursa falls. A godlike streak goes the way of Moon Meander.
That's with buyback gold, though.
Yep. Let's take a look at the overall recap. So it's a 4 for... Oh, that doesn't count. Okay. I see what you mean.
But it's still... This is very, very good for DC. Being able to get these 4 kills only for a Juggernaut buyback, and of course being able to force buybacks themselves, they're going to run straight down here. Or a Roche. Like,
it was a double buyback.
Oh, who else?
Timber.
Oh, Timber. Okay, so 2 buybacks.
Yeah.
I mean, even then, it's still a good fight.
So, not bad.
They can't really expect much better than that. Razor didn't have a way to get into the fight. I don't think he saw a creep to BOT on while he was bottom. The idea for LFY was just, let's go down mid, force the buybacks, and then BOT our Razor in. You can either fight or back. And they kind of got caught in between, and they end up losing 4, and I think this really crucial Roshan that would have probably just been the game for them.
Yeah,
now going to go the way of the Moon Meander, Timbersaw.
Roche 5, if I'm not mistaken. Another Aegis and Cheese. See who picked up the yummy cheese there. It will be Misery on the Pudge. All right. Win conditions opening up for DC. Look at that gold graph, and it is strikingly even as we're about to roll over to the 60-minute mark here in game number 2 of this opening series. Misery with the hook off the mark. Close call, but they will go to the high ground. 2 tier 3 towers dead for LFY. It's only that mid tier 3 still standing outside of their tier 4s. So it's kind of one good team fight for DC here. Remember, Ursa did also buy back. So 6 minutes, his buyback is on cooldown. If they kill him, they could do some pretty crippling damage to the base. This game is not over for DC.
I think, if they kill Ursa. They have the Aegis as well on the Timber, and they still have buyback on Alchemist. So, you know, what needs to happen now for DC is that they need to play zone control. They have they're 2 racks down, but they have the advantage of having the Aegis and Cheese, and they have pushed the 2 lanes that they've lost racks in. So they can actually keep the status quo where LFY, as the leading team, are kind of cornered in their base. And that means that one misstep can lead to the end of the game, and it looks like it could be happening right now. They're going on the Pugna top for now.
Yeah, Chow8 maybe in trouble, but Force Stabs coming out. Now the stun on the Pudge. Remember, he's got the Cheese. He's also holding on to the Gem. Now Super taking a lot of damage as Resolution jumps in. The Omni Slash to reset Yao, the first casualty of this fight. Instant buyback on him. Resolution maybe in too deep, but Weehaw still with a lot of HP. LFY just taking more damage than they can handle in this. Moon, he gets stunned up. That'll be the end of the Aegis. DC could still try and reinitiate here, and now they do. They jump in. Yao, remember, he's fresh off a buyback. It's a dieback. Jiao can't heal him in time. Super low on HP. Hook not on the money. Does catch the illusion instead. Now the Glyph. It's a 4v5. Sand King cannot buy back for 100 seconds. Come back, rather. Now the barracks under siege. Xiao8 trying to slowly whittle down Weehaw, but at this point the life drain just tickles. That's one lane of barracks. Does DC stay for more?
Would you believe it? That one move LFY did down mid where they had killed 2 cores might have just led to them losing the game. They could have just taken the Roche for free, right? I believe it was up at the time. But I don't think it was a bad choice going down mid. I just think they read the situation incorrectly. After they forced the first buyback, they could have backed off, been like, okay, we got a buyback out of it. Juggernaut probably has buyback too. There's a risk of us getting jumped, and our Razor is not in the middle of the fight. He has to connect. Instead, they took the chance, and it's really coming back to bite them here. 2 racks down. DC might actually just be winning the game. 50 seconds still to go. And that's why they don't want to fight without the Sand King. It's so difficult.
No
Stolen life drain.
And they're not going to be able to wait. Once this tier 3 tower goes down, the bottom barracks are already exposed. Weehaw actually taking a lot of damage. He gets forced deep into the base. Pops the BKB. He's trying to make it out. Moon Meander looking to body block. Resolution BKBs as well, and they all live. Moon trying to Timber Chain out. Tree is on the high ground. Resolution comes back in. Have a game of chicken going on right now as both sides are still reasonably healthy. Just trying to buy time for the Sand King. He's up in about 20. LFY hanging on pretty well. Remember, still no buyback on the Ursa. He has to play so conservative here. Positioning from DC. They're keeping this Alchemist in the front line, just trying to spam out the hook. Misery, though, now having mana issues, wants to save the Cheese for HP regen. It looks like they will just back out with the Sand King respawn looming. LFY coming out of the base, though. Super. Why did he go out so far? Force Staff does not make it to the high ground. The Omni Slash shuts him down. Pugna and Razor both fall. They do both have buybacks, but 2 more kills, getting DC 1 step closer to a victory. Stun on 2, both buybacks used. Weehaw pops the BKB, they turn the other way. The Epicenter does next to nothing. Misery getting low, but he survives, compliments the Glimmer Cape. He will make it out. Now Ursa getting low, Force Staff, double Force Staff. They get the counter kill on Moon Meander. Super with the BKB on, comes far out of the base. They are running low on buybacks. LFY cannot die here, or this game could end, but now they're doing the big damage. They're gonna turn it and kill the Alchemist. They still have a chance.
Someone's winning this game, Andrew.
Timbersaw does not have buyback here. Soxa does not make it out.
Oh,
now
buybacks. The Alch now.
Ready to be used by DC. Yeah, he's already bought back. They lost a tier 4 tower during that mess, so it looks like he just wanted to defend the base.
I mean, this game is a roller coaster right now. I have no idea what's going on. That's not a good thing to say for an analyst, but let's just be honest here.
Good hold there for LFY, though. I mean, there's still a tier 3 tower standing.
These fights are actually completely crazy. This is what's so beautiful when it gets to these like late game scenarios and it's so tense, is that there's a lot of like small or even bigger mistakes happening all the time, but they're kind of evening themselves out, and it makes for some really, really cool fights where, the clutchness of the individual players is really what's sealing the deal for either team now. Both teams have pretty much nothing left to fall back on, so this one fight coming up right now should be the game, unless by some miracle we get like an even hero trade.
Now, remember,
there's no Roche for an eternity.
They're
no
on
buybacks.
A different cooldown rotation, though. And DC have their buybacks coming up on their cores in about 30 seconds on Juggernaut and Timbersaw. So that's going to give them a small window here where they'll have a pretty big buyback advantage. Both of their supports right now, buyback available. And for Dire, it's just the Disruptor. That's it. So small window, still a pretty long time until Roche, not even into the RNG portion of the timer yet.
Yeah, Juggernaut's buyback being up in 15 is really important. Very, very important. But this game, man, you're seeing a 14k lead for DC after they're 2 racks down, after the gold was back to 0. They got the Roche after Dire getting, I think, 4 consecutive Roshans.
Yeah, but now...
What's gonna happen next? Disruptor
Butterfly.
Vlad's. That's actually a really high-value purchase.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. He already has 2 defensive items. It was between that or trying to greed for an Axe, but I think he just realizes that that's not realistic anymore. This game will be over before he gets it.
Super is really fat right now. He has a Moon Shard. He just picked up the Battle Fury, temporarily replacing the Aghanims, doing a little bit of inventory magic. We might see him try and Courier Micro, use the Ags to pop the ult, and then swap the S and Y back on.
This is a high-value butterfly because there's no MKBs on the Radiant side, and they have nothing to surpass it. No MKB, no Bloodthorn. None of their heroes even want to build Bloodthorn. And the Juggernaut, having recently bought that BK, or sorry, not the B, not recently. He has the Quarterstaff that he probably wants to build into a butter of his own. He also wants that buyback gold. He's very far off being able to counter this butterfly actually from Super.
Could this be a Bloodthorn coming on the Juggernaut?
I mean, technically, yeah, it could be. I don't know how good it is mathematically on that hero because you already have a built-in crit. But it might still be the choice. It is one of the best late-game items, of course.
You sort of look at it against the butterfly, like who else is going to be able to buy it here? Moonmeander's not going to get it. Weeha's already having slot issues, and Zoxa and Misery are not going to be able to farm it. So
yeah,
you know, if that's the item that they think they need to win this game, he's the only candidate.
It's very, very true. But at the same time, I think he wants a butter of his own because there's no True Strike on the... Oh, actually, never mind.
Ursa has
the Ursa
MKB
already has
already.
MKB, yeah.
So...
then I actually just think it's flat out a better choice at this point to go for that Bloodthorn.
Okay.
The butter won't do enough, I think. It also doesn't work against Razor's ultimate. At this point, Razor's primary damage is his ultimate and the Shivas, you know, just like all of this, and just the drain, right? You will drain the damage and start right-clicking down, but even if you evade a couple of hits, this Eye of the Storm is still going to whittle you down in these very extended fights that we're having.
Yep, intense territory here. Buyback advantage now swinging in favor of DC. Ursa has his available. He's the only one on the Dire. So 30 seconds until Roche comes up. It's a very fast respawn after the guaranteed timer, only about 25 seconds.
Ooh, this high ground advantage for DC is scary, though. We missed the stun on Yao.
Now the turn the other way. Another ward down, doing a little bit of poke damage. Razor.
I have the Storm on Rubik. Pretty useless.
Okay.
Not what he wanted. He can push
that one,
with it.
though,
He has Axe.
He can pop it and then steal something else. So it's not a bad steal, right? Eye of the Storm stays on, correct?
It's how often do you find yourself as Rubik going in with Eye of the Storm and being able to damage anything?
Of all, that part's true. But at
just
least
watch
it's
it
one
be the game decider here. He pops it and they get racked because he's killing it with Eye of the Storm.
It's a buff. That's anything that you can buff and then steal something else and still use it. I think is not so bad on Rubik. There's certainly worse things to steal. But we'll see. Glyph available here for the Dire. Slow and steady. Resolution taking a fair bit of damage. Super pops the BKB and actually charges out of the base.
That
very
is not
aggressive
happening.
play.
They need to be very careful not to get
falls
hooked
short,
right now.
but yeah, if they just jump on this Razor, this could be bad. Hook onto Yao. Oh no! They catch the Sand King. Now stun the other way. Razor comes in, pops the refresher. He's gonna pop that second ult soon. I think BKB starting to stack up. Misery will get finished off, but now and pops the BKB. He's getting low. Epicenter bringing Wee ever so low. They kill the Alchemist. They've also killed the Sand King though, and now Super. He's getting pretty low. This Pugna up on the high ground. He gets stunned. He can't keep life draining, but he does. He brings down Zoxa. Zhao 8 just the king of the mountain right now as he does stay alive, but Super does finally fall. They knock down Zhao 8. Resolution blinks forward. Buyback now from the Rubik. Oh, this life drain. It's really starting to hurt at this stage. He's up on the high ground again. DDC almost dies. Moonmeander can't find him. He doesn't have the detection. They bring down the Pudge. The Juggernaut getting low, but Moonmeander finds the kill on the Pugna. It is a bloodbath to the extreme, but I think LFY are the ones in a lot of trouble. The buybacks come from DC. They use all 3 of them. A nice glimpse back from the Disruptor, but they are out of resources to hold the barracks, and I think DC might have just done it here, Sin.
They're gonna run back. They're scared of this Ursa being able to kill off Moonmeander, and then he will be... Well, he actually does have the buyback. It's Resolution who doesn't have one. They're re-engaging. We'll go for the racks. The question is if they can get the 3rd lane. This is still really expensive for them, actually. They've committed a lot. It does look like they will be successful in getting Megas here. Healing Ward is destroyed.
Yeah, still 70 seconds before
20
Razor
seconds
or
Sand King. He's the big
up.
one. And can actually win this fight if they have the Sand King stuns.
Moonmeander trying to box them out. They get the barracks. Now on the front line, Misery gets jumped on by the Ursa. They'll find the kill there, but I think it's too little too late. The Megas do go down. Razor gets his buyback.
This game is not over at all yet.
They killed the Ursa. Now he has the buyback. Moon Meander on his way out.
Oh, whoa, what happened? Oh,
is that a glimpse? I don't know. That was weird. He pops his BKB, goes for the TP. It's going to be close, but he gets bashed. Okay. So LFY, as you said, it's Megas, but they kind of hold on. They have to use a few buybacks themselves, Razor and Ursa. So that kind of levels out the buybacks DC used earlier. And now Pugna pops his. I think LFY thinking about an all-in play here.
There is a Roche if they want it. They know that Pudge is dead for a minute, but the other heroes will be up. The question is, how well did they keep track?
That's a Rapier.
Rapier for Ursa. Yeah, how well did they keep track of the Radiant buybacks is the question. Alk has one, Timber has one, and that's it, I think, right? So, if they focus one of those heroes first, that could be their loss. But if they get a pick on even a hero like Pudge or Rubik, just like any sort of good start like that where they get ahead in the fight, makes a big difference. And their own Sand King is 300 gold from buyback. If they get like a tier 4 and 1 kill or something like that, Yao could find himself a second life here.
Here we go. We in the front lines. He needs to be careful. He does have the buyback, but you don't want to burn it straight away. He gets off the BKB, but he's just taking too much damage. He goes down. Resolution now pops his BKB, joins the fray as Moon Meander charges forward. BKB on as well. Buyback now from the Alchemist. They do lose the tier 4 tower. Moon Meander about to lose his BKB, but the double Chakram's doing a fair bit of damage here as Weehaw finds a stun on one. Static Storm Kinetic Field. Can they get in to close the gap? Yao pops the epicenter. Weehaw could die back here. He's getting low, but he does get hooked. Maybe they just focus on the throne. Still a glyph. This is getting scary for LFY. BKB popped by Super. They're starting to focus the throne, but DC seem to have the reinforcements to handle this. They're trading kills now, but they lose Ursa. They lose Razor. Moon Meander just barely goes down, but the creeps, they kill the throne back at the Dire.